Welcome to your first lecture for chemistry of hopefully what will become your favorite class in high school. I know we've kind of already had some fun this year, and I'd like to continue that. Now we're really going to start getting into the meat and potatoes of what we need to talk about. As you can see my face. I know you're really enjoying that at this point. And you can also see a PowerPoint in the background. Okay, so all of our notes are going to be taken this way. In this lecture format, you'll do it at home. You need to record your notes in your homework journal. Okay, so remember we have the lab journal and the homework journal. Everything goes in the homework journal. That's where you're going to write your notes. So you can write down the stuff that you see behind me on the PowerPoint. Okay, so let's move on and start getting into our content here. We're going to start out talking about the scientific method. The steps of the scientific method, it's a very systematic thing. You can see you make an observation, you come to a hypothesis, you do a little experiment, and then you draw a conclusion. Okay? In real life, we do this all the time. You have a systematic approach to what types of food that you like, the clothes that you wear, and everything that you do on a daily basis. Okay, so let's talk about that. First, you're going to make observations. And there are two types of observations that you need to know about, qualitative and quantitative. A qualitative observation is one that observes a physical characteristic like color, taste, odor, things like that. So you might say, that fish smells gross, or the food tastes sweet. That's different from a quantitative observation in which you have a numerical value attached. Notice the words qualitative, quality, and quantitative, quantity, okay, a number. So you might measure out some sugar. There are 6.7 grams of sugar. That would be a quantitative observation, one with a number attached. You need to make a hypothesis after you make observations, which is an educated guess. Okay, so you observe and you see that there is a donut. Okay, you make a hypothesis. My hypothesis is that the donut will taste good. So next step is to do an experiment, controlled observations to test the hypothesis. So you're going to take the donut and take a bite. It turns out that the donut's been sitting there for 2 weeks. So conclusion, the donut was not good, even though an educated guess would tell you that the donut would taste good. Okay? Maybe you didn't see the mold growing underneath it or something like that. All right, so scientific method is simply that: observation, hypothesis, experiment, and conclusion. I'm sure you've talked about it in your science classes before. That was chapter 1. All right, one chapter down. Chemistry is so fun. It's so easy. Chapter 2, data analysis and scientific notation. Some numbers are too big or too small to write out. And in chemistry, we use this all the time because we're dealing with numbers of atoms, which are really, really, really big. Okay, you might have millions and millions and millions of atoms in a sample. Or you might be talking about a mass of some really small item, and the mass is so small that you have to use this thing called scientific notation to express that. So scientific notation is a number, which we call the coefficient. Okay, so you can see that right there. Between 1 and 10, it has to be between 1 and 10, times 10 to a power. So it's almost always in the format of some number times 10 to an exponent, like that. Okay, if this exponent happens to be a negative number, this exponent up here has to be negative, then that original number would be less than 1, so say like 0.001. Or if it's positive, the original number is greater than 10, so like 10,000, okay? So the best way to go about doing this is to just look at an example. Let's write 70,010 in scientific notation. Right now, the decimal point is right here at the end, okay? We need to move the decimal point so that our number, our coefficient, remember, is between 1 and 10. If we move it here, we now have the number 7,001, 700.1, 70.01, still not between 1 and 10, 7.001, that is a number between 1 and 10. Okay, so 7.001 is our new coefficient, times 10. The power that we need to use has to be a positive number because 70,010 is greater than 10. How many times did we move the decimal place? 5 times. So that's our exponent. And there's your answer. Okay, let's try another one. 5.4 times 10 to the negative fourth in standard notation. So 5.4 times 10 to the negative fourth We want to write that as a standard number, so we start with our coefficient, 5.4. We're going to move the decimal 4 places. The way that we move it is dependent upon whether it's positive or negative. In this case, it's negative, which tells us that the number, the original number, is less than 1. Okay? If I start to move the decimal place this way, the number becomes 54. That's not going to work because the number is getting bigger. So we move it the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we need some placeholders in there. Here's our new decimal point. For every time that we moved a space, we need to put a 0. So that gives us our new number in standard notation, 0.00054. Okay? So when you are using your calculator, you have to use what I call the E key, okay, or the exponent key. And I'm going to show you right now what it should look like on your calculator. I'm going to use a scientific calculator, a graphing calculator. Any of the calculators will work, and I can help you in class. As long as it's a scientific calculator, I can help you in class make sure that yours works. Okay? We'll get it figured out. Okay, so here's my calculator. Our first problem is 7 times 10 to the second power times 6.7 times 10 to the negative 10th. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 7E2. And the place that you find the E key is right here. Okay? You hit second and then EE. Yours might be an exponent. Okay, I might say EXP or something else. Don't use the lowercase key. That's not the right one. Times 6.7 E negative 10. Notice that E means times 10 to the. So I don't write times 10. I don't put E times 10 or anything like that. To do 7 times 10 squared, it's 7E2. 7 exponent 2. Okay? So when you hit enter, you get your answer for that one, 4.69 times 10 to the negative 7th. The one after that would be 1.5 E12 plus 6.7 E negative 10. Okay? When you hit enter on that, you get 1.5 times 10 to the 12th. Take a moment right now to make sure that you can get that in your calculator. Okay, get both of those numbers in your calculator. If you can't, just ask me in class tomorrow. Make a little note right now in your notes that you need to ask me that question. Okay?